Ladies and gentlemen, ahead of today's game, we would like to take the time to recognize 10 Dolphins who will be moving on from the women's soccer program following their graduation this season. We would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge their contributions to the program individually ahead of their final conference home game here at CSI. Our first senior arrived for the 2021 season and appeared in 8 games during her freshman campaign. After playing over 100 minutes that year, she returned in 2022 to appear in 2 more games. The following season, in 2023, she assumed an entirely new role as a team manager, a vital component to the program's practice and game day organization. Throughout each of the last 2 seasons, she has put in great attention to detail and passion into her role as manager, adding another aspect of professionalism to the women's soccer program at CSI. Her positive energy, support, and passion will be greatly missed next year. Our senior, Alora Surak. One more round of applause for Alora Surak. Our second senior joined the Dolphins in the 2022 season and immediately assumed a starting role during the team's first 5 games of that year. During her first season with the Dolphins, she logged over 360 minutes before missing the remainder of the season. Last season, she worked her way back into the lineup during the second half of the 2023 campaign and appeared in 3 games. Building upon her return late last season, 2024 has seen her appear in and start a career high in games. On pace to reach 1,000 minutes this season, she departs the program as an important piece of the CSI defense. Our senior, number 18, Kelly Buckley. One more round of applause for Kelly Buckley. Our next senior debuted with the Dolphins in 2021 and immediately became an integral part of the program. As a freshman, she started every game and played 1,563 minutes across 18 contests. She also added a goal and led the team in assists. She did not appear in a game each of the next 2 seasons, but she remained close to the program during that time. Working alongside several Dolphins, she helped introduce the annual Morgan's Message Mental Health Awareness Day, a tradition that continues 1 week from today. Just 2 weeks ago, she made her return to the pitch at Queens College and registered her first goal of the season. Upon her return earlier this month, she once again assumed a big role on the field, and she will be missed as she departs the program this year. Our senior, number 25, Jenna Como. One more round of applause for Jenna Como. Our next senior joined the Dolphins in 2021 and instantly became an important part of the program. As a freshman, she appeared in a career-high 15 games, including 7 starts. Playing well over 900 minutes during her first year with the program, she played 533 more minutes across 8 appearances as a sophomore. Last year, she appeared in 9 more games and played another 300 minutes. This year, she is on pace to surpass her minutes and games total from each of the last 2 seasons. One of 5 four-year seniors that will depart the program this year, she has remained a key contributor throughout her tenure with the Dolphins. Our senior, number 13, Isabella Castro. One more round of applause for Isabella Castro. Our next senior arrived at CSI for the 2023 season and quickly became one of the premier players in the East Coast Conference. A 2-time ECC Player of the Week last season, she finished the season with a team-leading 6 goals. She also led the conference in shots last year and was ultimately named to the East Coast Conference All-Conference second team. After playing well over 1,000 minutes last season, she is on pace to surpass that by a wide margin this year. She has appeared in and started every game in 2024 and has added 2 more goals to give her 8 as a Dolphin. The team's Division II leader in goals scored, her presence on the attack will be difficult to replace when she departs the program this year. Our senior, number 10, Isabella Radavini. That was your first reaction about there. I was like, oh, okay. One more round of applause for Isabella Radavini. Our next senior also joined the Dolphins in 2021 and instantly made an impact during her freshman season. That year, she scored a career-high 3 goals in 16 games played. After missing the first half of 2022, she returned to play 324 minutes across 6 games and recorded 2 assists. As a junior, she appeared in another 14 games with a career-high 11 starts. She also added another 2 goals and an assist to her stat line, finishing the season just short of 1,000 minutes. This year, she was on pace for career highs across several categories before suffering an injury earlier this month. However, she has left a lasting impact on the team and has recorded the 2nd highest point total in the Division II history of the program. Our senior, number 8, Nadia Evola. One more round of applause for Nadia Evola. Our next senior also joined the program in 2021, and no Dolphin has played in more games since her arrival. As a freshman, she appeared in 17 games and started 14, playing nearly 1,200 minutes. She also scored the first goal of her career in her CSI debut, a 2-1 overtime win against Felician University in the first women's soccer match following the COVID-19 pandemic. Each of the next 2 seasons she appeared in and started all 29 possible games. She added another goal and 2 assists in 2023 and managed to increase her minutes total during her sophomore and junior years. Working with the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, she also helped bring about the debut of the Finnies, the all-new end-of-season awards dinner, earlier this year. On the field, she has once again started every possible game in 2024, and as a 4-year senior, she will leave behind a lasting impact on CSI athletics. Our senior, number 4, Emily Albano. One more round of applause for Emily Albano. Our next senior arrived in 2021 and has been a mainstay in goal since joining the program. During her freshman season, she appeared in a career-high 17 games and collected a career-high in wins. She improved her goals allowed average during each of the next 2 seasons, culminating with a 2.1 goals allowed average last year. Last year, she opened the 2023 campaign with an ECC Defensive Player of the Week award, one of multiple accolades she has received from the conference. This season, she remains a reliable presence in goal and has made 10 or more saves in 3 separate games this year. Another 4-year senior who has remained an important part of the program throughout her tenure, our senior, number 1, Sarah Villacris. One more round of applause for Sarah Villacris. In addition to our 8 seniors who have already been introduced, 2 more seniors who were recognized last year will be departing the program at the conclusion of this season. Ariel Uwe and Megan Marr will also be graduating this year and have combined to dedicate 7 seasons to the women's soccer program. At this time, join us in welcoming Ariel and Megan to the field to join the rest of our 2024 senior class. Meredith, no additional warm-up time, right? We're going right in? 5 minutes? Okay.
He wants 8. He wanted 8.
5.
Thank you.
One more round of applause for Ariel Uwe, Megan Marr, and our 2024 women's soccer senior class. We thank our officials and D'Youville University for their patience during our Senior Day presentation. At this time, we will give the teams a few minutes to get prepared for the playing of the national anthem and the introduction of starting lineups ahead of today's East Coast Conference women's soccer matchup.
Just as a quick heads up to everyone, so Nadia is going to start the game.
Yeah, they told us. We're good.
Okay.
Yep.
Just want to make sure that, like, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care.
Could you hear anything out there, Allison? Did you hear it?
Yeah, I heard everything.
Okay, good. Good? Yeah, I cranked it, so. I've never seen a lock on that back door, ever.
Sophomore from Austin, Texas, number 3.
Live from the CSI Outdoor Track and Field Complex on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet welcomes you into NCAA Division II women's soccer coverage. In today's East Coast Conference matchup, the College of Staten Island Dolphins host the D'Youville University Saints. Good morning, everybody. My name is Joe Foreman on the call solo today, and once again, I was pulling double duty ahead of today's game as I was the PA announcer for our Senior Day ceremony. The Dolphins recognizing 10 seniors ahead of today's game. One of them had the privilege of kicking the ball off to begin the game. Nadia Evila, who suffered a season-ending injury earlier this year, kicks off to open this match. The Dolphins send the ball straight out of bounds. Evila will be substituted out of the game, but she takes the pitch for the final time here at home, gets to kick off today's game, and will exit the pitch to a round of applause from those in attendance and her teammates. Riley Hammond will replace Evila in the Dolphins lineup, coming in just seconds following the start of today's match. So the Dolphins starters in numerical order: in goal, number 1, Sarah Velacres; number 3, Chloe Ludwig; number 4, Emily Albano. Officially, Nadia Evila gets the start today. Riley Hammond comes in to replace her. Isabella Radavini, another Dolphins starter, along with Isabella Castro, Kelly Buckley, Ariel Uwe, Caitlin Thompson, Jenna Como, and Megan Marr. The Dolphins possess the ball here, and Uwe looked to get it ahead to Radavini. I'll get you the D'Youville starters in just a moment. The Dolphins come in 0-8-3 on the season. In terms of playoffs, this game is a must-win, as that ball ends up at the scorer's table. They're trying to get it from under the desk, and they finally do. But the Dolphins come in 0-8-3. This game is a must-win in terms of keeping their playoff hopes alive. The good news is, if they do win, they are likely to be alive mathematically entering their final conference game of the season. That, however, is a game against Malloy. That game is on the road. The Lions right now are the top team in the ECC. At least they were as of the last time I checked the standings. So Malloy in the driver's seat in terms of their playoff fate. The Dolphins hoping to end the season with back-to-back victories against the conference. Obviously still looking for their first win of the 2024 campaign here on Senior Day. And we'll talk a bit more about some of the Dolphin seniors throughout this match as the Saints look to move forward on the attack. That ball sent toward the corner, but it rolls over the touchline. Cicchini was unable to catch up to it, and the Dolphins will throw in here. Thanks to Andrew over at D'Youville for the pronunciation guide. I will be referring to that to get you the Saints starters. Katie Lillenquist, number 1, is in goal for the Saints. Chandra Phillips joins her in the starting lineup, along with Izzy Deachman. Malia La, she wears number 8. As the Dolphins move into a dangerous position here, Hammond goes down. Ludwig with the shot, and it's just wide. The Dolphins nearly strike early. Before I could even get through the rest of the Saints starters, I already mentioned Eleonora Cicchini in the starting lineup for D'Youville. She was the intended target on a pass not too long ago. Jesslyn Brook Ballesteros in the starting lineup, along with Gabrielle Brown. Manta Sakata, she wears number 15. Alicia O'Hay wears number 17. Lily Gallagher wears number 26. And Lovisa Nilsson wears number 27. Those the Saints starters for today's game. The Saints come in 0-8-2, also looking for their first win. They're 0-4 against the conference as Radavini's shot is blocked. Radavini among the Dolphins seniors. So we'll start with a recap of her career. Radavini was the Dolphins' leader in goals last year with 6. As that one skips through the back line of D'Youville into the box, the Saints do get a foot on it and clear it away. Radavini, an ECC All-Conference second-teamer last year, led the ECC in shots. Has a couple of goals already this year as the Saints cross midfield, looking to move into the attacking third. Flag goes up for offsides as Emily Albano cut off the attacker, and we'll talk about Albano a bit. Albano scored the Dolphins' first goal at home following the team's return from the COVID-19 pandemic.
In their first match back at Dolphins Soccer Park, she scored on a bicycle kick late in the first half of the team's match against Felician. And during one of our recent broadcasts, I cited that game as easily one of the best soccer matches I've called here on Sportsnet. The Dolphins winning that match by a score of 2-1 in overtime. Nadia Evela registered the game-winning goal on what was a free kick that ended up in heavy traffic. Evela, along the back post, got a piece of it and directed it in. So Evela and Albano both a huge part of that win. As that's sent toward goal, it's off the fingertips of Villacrest and in! With an attacker closing in, Villacrest had it deflect off of her fingertips. The Dolphins could not keep it out. Uwe tried to make the team save and couldn't do it, as she has a word with her fellow back, Emily Albano, and the Dolphins now trail 1-0, something that has befallen the Dolphins so often this year in the opening minutes. An early goal by the opposition, and Dieuville has an early 1-goal lead. Speaking of Ariel Uwe, she was recognized on Senior Day last year. However, Uwe, of course, joining the seniors on the pitch ahead of today's game, had a brief introduction along with Megan Marr, a fellow senior who was recognized last year. Both will be departing the program this year after returning for one more campaign. Here comes Radavini looking for Thompson. Pass deflected away, and the Saints take possession in the midfield. But Uwe last year, with what was a career-best scoring effort, 3 points in a game on the road. That was at Georgian Court, easily Uwe's most notable performance as a Dolphin, but she has really done a great job for CSI, especially each of the last 2 seasons. Really emerged last year, but got some work late 2 years ago and earned herself a spot in the team's starting lineup and in their regular rotation of players from game to game. Specifically, late in 2022, she earned that spot and then made the most of it last season and has done so once again this year. A player who in the back can also lend herself to the attack, as evidenced by that performance at Georgian Court. And a player that has meant a lot to this Dolphins team each of the last 3 years. Here come the Saints again through the midfield. Giving chase is Deichmann. She gets by Buckley. Deichmann shoots, but didn't get all of it, and Villacrest makes the easy save. Speaking of the Dolphins goalkeeper, she's another one of our seniors who was recognized ahead of today's kickoff. When I was authoring the Senior Day speeches, one of the stats that really jumped out to me is that she's had 3 games with 10 or more saves this year. You don't see that very often, and sometimes that's obviously a testament to how many shots the team allows. But she's done a great job in goal for the Dolphins under a lot of heavy pressure, and that's not an easy position to be in. Obviously, when it comes to how many goals the team allows, a lot of that burden of bearing the responsibility for it falls upon the goalkeeper for those who don't really have a keen eye for the game. But obviously it's a combination of factors, including possession time and how the defense plays. And Sarah's done a very serviceable job in net for the Dolphins. And I think last year was a season that will go down as perhaps the best for a Dolphins goalkeeper during the program's Division II history. A 2.1 goals allowed average, an East Coast Conference Defensive Player of the Week honor, and a lot to be proud of for the Dolphins senior as a 4-year member of the program. Something else that doesn't get the recognition it deserves all the time, being a 4-year member of a program. And we know how much the coaches value that in helping to build a culture around the team and in establishing leaders on a roster that has faced a lot of adversity over the last several seasons. We've said it many times already, and I think after a while it could fall on deaf ears, but it still bears repeating and is a very valid point. The Dolphins really were behind the 8 ball in terms of their transition to Division II. Obviously that transition began in 2019, And moving forward from there, there was the COVID year that resulted in the suspension of competition as the Saints now look to move in on the attack again, and that ball sent straight to Villacrest. But the Dolphins were in a tough spot with that suspension of competition for a year. It obviously doesn't make things any easier in terms of recruiting as well, with the restrictions that were in place. But this program has slowly been working its way into the playoff conversation, as for the second time in as many games, a soccer ball narrowly misses me. Have to say, though, for the speed that those soccer balls travel over toward the scorer's table from point-blank range, I really don't flinch much. We got the elbow up just in case, but thankfully it whizzed by the left side of my face. Michael's nodding in approval. He almost got hit on camera in our last game, but he took evasive action. Michael and Edward behind the computer today doing our engineering. We had to do without our second camera for this game. We might be able to incorporate it at halftime. We'll have to see how quickly I can get back to the building. I think it's more likely we incorporate it for the men's game coming up next. But with me being forced to scramble ahead of our senior day presentation, we didn't have time to set up a second camera. We did try and broadcast our senior day speeches from the baseball press box. And when we got up there, we found out that a combination lock had been placed on the back door. So we had to do that from midfield here at soccer as the Saints, threatening once again, work the ball toward the center of the pitch. No shot attempt yet as the Dolphins continue to pressure. Dietrich might change that as she works toward the middle. Uwe got a piece of it, and she dispossesses Dietrich. Here comes Radavini into the midfield, and she sends one off the body of Hammond. That ball rolls onto the foot of Lillenquist. Lillenquist in net today for the Saints. Hasn't been tested yet, and I think that's something that the Dolphins would like to improve down the stretch of the season here with a couple of weeks to go. Making sure they put a bit more pressure on the opposing goalkeeper. Make sure the opposing goalkeeper is tested a bit more. As in many games, their shot opportunities have been very limited. And obviously, that makes things very difficult in terms of winning games. Here comes Radavini. Radavini was dispossessed. She continues to battle here. And the ball travels over the touchline. Foul was called against Radavini. In fact, I don't believe it was a throw-in rule. The ball did roll over the touchline, but a foul was called first. For those who are fans of swimming and diving, we do have a swimming and diving meet live today from the tank. That meet should go live with full video in a couple of minutes. Checking in via the ECC network on my mobile device, and the stream is live. We're just awaiting the video feed. That may go live closer to start time of 12 p.m., but our Sportsnet colleague and statistician, Louis Matrone, at the desk engineering our swimming stream today. He's also pulling double duty on stats, and my voice will be public address. I have recorded all of the announcements for swim as well, so they'll have my voice in the pool area as the free kick from Dieuville is sent off the head of a Dolphin, and that will result in a corner. A corner kick for Dieuville, the first of the game for either team.
Kelly, mark up as well, Kelly.
Dolphins with 9 gathered in the box, plus their goalkeeper. Only Radavini remains at midfield as that's headed high over the bar. Big opportunity there for Dieuville. I'm trying to get a look at who it was that attempted that header. The numbers on the front side of the D'Youville uniforms a bit tough to make out through the stripes, but that was number 8, Melia La, on that header attempt. So La gets an early shot attempt on the header. I don't have a great view of the clock. I think it says 30.5 minutes. So about 15 minutes gone by in this first half. I think that still qualifies as early. Buckley over to Uwe. Uwe works toward the inside, and Megan Marr sends it over the touchline. So another Dolphins senior today, Megan Marr, in the lineup for CSI, getting a start on senior day. And she started most of the game since her arrival here at CSI. Has come off the bench a couple of times this season in games we've covered here at home, but for most of her career, she's been a starter and has been a key player for the Dolphins on that back line. We've seen her get a lot of work in the midfield this year. The back line currently, Uwe, Buckley, Albano, and perhaps Castro. Tough to make out whether or not she's at a back spotter in the midfield as the Saints are threatening once again. That ball a bit too strong. Did Albano prevent conceding a corner there? I'm not sure. Don't have a great view of that corner to my left, but we'll find out in just a moment whether it's a throw or a corner kick. It is a throw. Saints working in from along the far side. And for those tuning in for the first time this year, perhaps fans of the Saints, I am broadcasting from opposite the camera. So the near sideline for me is the far sideline relative to the camera. I try and speak in terms of what's relative to our camera at the opposite end of the pitch, but if I misspeak, that is the reason why. Our camera is operating via a wireless transmitter from in the bleachers. Any video lag can be attributed to that. We do delay our audio about a half a second to accommodate for the video transmission coming from across the field, but every once in a while, that feed may not be perfectly synced with my voice. We do our best. Thankfully, that will no longer be an issue once we move indoors for basketball. That's sent on goal and saved by Villacrest. Dolphins goalkeeper waving her team toward midfield here. She gets set to send it in that direction. Very calm day here on campus in terms of the wind. Perfect weather for an outdoor game, not too hot, but certainly not as cool as the weather we've had for much of the last 2 weeks or so. It's gotten chilly here in New York and where I live in New Jersey at times during the last couple of weeks, though our audience in Buffalo, I'm sure, is well accustomed to that kind of weather. It's just about at this time of year that weather becomes more regular here in New York City. This is Radavini. Radavini sends it over to Marr. Marr forced to retreat a bit, finds Albano. Now Kelly Buckley, who's another one of the Dolphins seniors. And in terms of games played, we didn't see as much of Buckley during the 2022 and 2023 seasons. Her 2022 was cut short after she began the year a regular starter. She returned late last year and got some reps at the conclusion of the 2023 season. But here in 2024, she's become a regular starter. If I'm not mistaken, she's been in there every game I've covered. And there's a lot to be said for players who can play in every game. A lot of the time it goes unnoticed, especially during a season that plays usually between a 14 and 17 game schedule. As Radavini gets taken down, she's upended and is slow to get up. Dolphins wanted a call there, and that's one of those 50-50 balls where the goalkeeper never really got a piece of it until after she contacted the attacker. Radavini still down. Good sportsmanship by Lillenquist to check in on Radavini.
She made the contact. She made the contact. Then she got the ball. She made the contact.
Dolphins bench still petitioning for a call.
Come on, White, come on. Hey, let's go, come on.
Radavini will remain in the game. She is slightly limping on her way out toward midfield. Marr sends one
Come on.
up the pitch toward Ludwig. Ludwig circles back toward the sideline.
Come on.
Has it once again.
Yes, JB, keep it in front.
Jump in.
Hey, stop it. Close it. Good, Katie.
First and seconds here.
Lillenquist now will send it toward midfield.
Where are we? We gotta take the space first. Come on, the Visa. That's us. Good. Izzy.
For those who may have been looking for our swim stream, that has gone offline for just a moment. Dolphins throwing here.
Now watch out. Watch Ari. Good. Yep. Right on.
Ball to midfield with the Dolphins here. As I'm communicating with our stats desk over at Swim, our stream has gone offline.
All right. In the back. Yeah.
They're having an internet connectivity issue. No surprise there with the Wi-Fi not exactly being the best on campus at all times. And Saints threatening on the attack once again will earn another corner. We await a Saints corner kick here, their second of the match. The first one was a good one. Amelia La put a header over the bar on the last corner kick attempt. Saints hope to replicate that shot opportunity here with a different result, as Como knocks it up into the air. Ball still being volleyed around, and that shot was blocked. Thompson sends it into the midfield, Radavini giving chase, but Phillips there first.
Strong. Run behind Caitlin. Run, Caitlin.
Ludwig back over to Isabella Castro, another Dolphin, who was recognized ahead of today's game for Senior Day. Castro, a player who came in and immediately assumed a big role on this Dolphins team. 15 games during her freshman campaign. Missed some time last year and may have missed some time early this year as well. But a player who's been a constant presence in the Dolphins lineup each of the last 3 seasons when healthy. Player who has both started a bunch. I believe she made 7 starts during her freshman campaign and has been given consistent minutes off the bench when she hasn't started. She's quickly headed towards surpassing both her minutes played total and games played total from each of the last 2 seasons in 2024. Obviously, her sister Gabriella, a part of the team as well. She was joined by Gabriella during our Senior Day ceremony. And once again, something that I mentioned before, a 4-year senior, something that certainly deserves plenty of recognition. Dolphins had 5 4-year players in this year's senior class.
Hey, come on, Black! Come on, Black! Energy, girls! Come on!
Saints looking to build something on the attack. The Dolphins certainly not making things easy here.
Good, Leisha. Good press. Keep it up, Ellie. Bella, keep dropping a little bit, please. Bella, keep dropping a little
Taking a look inside at the live feed from our pool. It appears to be back online, which is good to see, as preparations continue for the start of today's meet.
Bella, to the other side.
I get my first look at swimming and diving on Friday night. The Dolphins hosting another tri-meet later this week as Emily Nagel checks in, replacing Megan Marr for the Dolphins here at the soccer pitch. But on Friday, the Dolphins host a tri-meet. Ask me to recall the second program, and I might not be sure. Delphi and Felician. Thanks, Steph. I knew Felician was one of them because Felician is only on the women's schedule, but both the men and the women will compete against the Delphi. Saints once again possess the ball in the attacking third, but the flag is up for offsides.
Riley, keep it going, Riley. Well done, keep it going. Go, Kate, keep going, Kate. Come on. Goodness here. Riley, let's play off for Caitlin here.
Free kick, Staten Island. Albano will take it. We are inside of 20 minutes to go in the first half. The Dolphins trail 1-0. Their playoff aspirations very much on the line with this game. The all-time series is tied at 1-1-1. Obviously, in the regular season, there will be no more ones in that third column as overtime is now eradicated during regular season games. So there will be, or I should say overtime losses will be eradicated. Obviously, you can still tie, but in regulation anyway is where that tie would occur. I've said it time and time again. I really miss overtime, but I understand why it was ended. As a broadcaster, though, there's nothing quite like calling overtime in any sport, really, where the game hangs in the balance during every moment of play.
Yes, Caitlin. Yes, Caitlin. One on.
Most recently, when these two teams met last year, it was a commanding 6-2 win for Dieuville. Another senior that we'd like to shout out during today's game as the Saints make a substitution is a senior who didn't play any minutes this year for the Dolphins, but has been an integral part of the program. Laura Surratt, the team manager, also was recognized with the rest of the senior class this year, and her passion and dedication for what she does as the team manager has added another level of professionalism to this women's soccer program, and her contributions to women's soccer have not gone unnoticed, despite not spending a minute on the pitch each of the last 2 years. However, she did play during the 2021 and 2022 seasons. Played a career-high 8 games during her freshman campaign in 2021 for a Dolphins team that was coming back from a long time without playing a game. Obviously, the soccer season ends in early November, sometimes even late October. And when the season came to an end in 2019, it was hard to imagine that it would be nearly 2 years before the team took the pitch again. But that was, in fact, the case. Saints once again have it in the attacking third. Long shot toward goal and stopped by Villacrest. A quality strike there by a Saints substitute, Tamia Kitchings, off the bench immediately with a quality attempt, though I believe Kitchings did come in a bit earlier in the half. She's been out there for a while. Came off the bench nonetheless. As Nagel was dispossessed there, the Dolphins quickly turned that scoring chance for D'Youville into an opportunity of their own. 16 minutes to go. Here in this first half, the Dolphins still trail 1-0. And CSI's most threatening opportunity in this game did not come in the form of a shot. That opportunity came with Radavini moving in, and she was taken out by the goalkeeper, Lillenquist. And Dolphins obviously wanted a foul call, didn't get it. I'm sure the Saints would disagree with the CSI assessment of that play, but the game remains 1-0. Early goal for D'Youville. In fact, I don't believe I provided the official scoring on that goal, so I will do that right now. Saints' goal was scored by Lily Gallagher. That came much earlier in this first half. And I said it before, the Dolphins so many times this year have fallen behind in the opening minutes and have remained behind by a goal, sometimes two, for much of the match, battled back late, but those comeback bids have fallen short. As that ball is intended for Radavini along the touchline, she keeps it in play. Wants Hammond, but it's cleared over the near side by D'Youville. The Dolphins will throw. And you have to think for the Dolphins now, with a couple of weeks left in the season, as that ball was dribbled over the touchline. But with a couple of weeks left in the season, and obviously without a win, the pressure to get in the win column has to be mounting for this team. And it can cause you to press a little bit in the figurative sense, not the literal sense. That being said, obviously the opportunities to get that win dwindling, and Dolphins have 3 more home matches on the schedule. They go on the road at Malloy as well. We're back here at the Outdoor Track and Field Complex next weekend. Ball in the midfield, and Buckley sends it ahead to Ludwig. Ludwig working inside, found Thompson, and don't think they'll give her a shot there. She tried on the volley to play it toward goal anyway. This is Buckley again for Uwe. Uwe ahead to Ludwig. Ludwig pressured toward the sideline and makes a nice move there to avoid a challenge, buying herself a lot of space. Ludwig moving toward the touchline, looks to turn the other way. Ludwig with the left foot sends it over everyone. Radavini gets it to Como. Como chips it in the air, but nobody home. Castro looking to track it down along the sideline. And it rolls over the touchline for a Dolphins throw. Castro wanted to throw quickly, and she does get it in. It's chipped in the air and back over the touchline out of play. Eva Rodriguez will check in for the Dolphins, replacing Chloe Ludwig.
Riley, drop down. Nagel 10.
Just over 12 minutes to go here in the first half. Saints possess it, but the Dolphins with some pressure trying to change that here. CSI eases off just a bit. Comes Phillips toward midfield. Pass too strong. Throw in Dolphins. Thompson whiffed on it off the throw, but the Dolphins had Saints players surrounded there. That was Kitchings, but the Saints now turn that precarious position into an attacking opportunity. Cross toward the near post, sliding shot stopped. Villacrest just gets to that post and keeps it out. It may have traveled just wide had it continued through, but Villacrest obviously taking no chances there. And on that attempt, Montesacata was denied. They are just moments away from the start of today's swimming and diving meet. Over at the pool, shout out to Brian and Lewis, who I am told are both watching. So we love to hear that. Can the Wi-Fi support a stream? That's the big question. Lewis will have to let me know via text. This is Radavini in the corner.
Oh, it's 10. It's 10.
And it's cleared away by D'Youville. Another throw in here for the Dolphins. Big question is, do they have the volume on?
Riley, not too much, Riley, because there's no one holding.
Ball in the midfield with D'Youville. Albano, strong challenge. Play continues. Saints wanted a foul. I don't believe there was an advantage played.
Hard to get back.
D'Youville once again in the attacking third, forced to retreat a bit toward midfield. Ball played toward the far side. Waiting for it was Gallagher. Gallagher toward goal and grabbed on a fly by Villacres.
Let's go, girls. Let's go.
That ball sent out toward the midfield stripe, bodied away, and taken again by D'Youville. It's rolling toward the sideline. The Saints do keep it in. That was Kitchings, and it's cleared out by the Dolphins. Substitutions for both sides here. Hannah Dino and Gabriela Castro both enter the game. Gabriela replaces Isabella. Dolphins with a goal kick coming up here. We are inside of 10 minutes to play in the first half as we approach the 8-minute mark. Dolphins, I believe, are still officially looking for their first shot, but that is what we have live stats for. We'll check that and be certain. And they have two, so officially they have two shots. The attempt by Ludwig went wide. I forgot about that one. And there's a goal! Isabella Radavini puts to bed any talk of needing more shots. And the Dolphins are on the board as they get level on the Radavini equalizer.
Goal scored by Isabella Radavini.
What a strike by Radavini, who tucked it just beneath the bar. Lillenquist had no chance on that one. And the Dolphins get even on the Radavini Senior Day goal. That is officially Radavini's second shot of the game. Her third goal of the season. And we are even at one. And just like that, the CSI sideline comes to life. The crowd wakes up a bit. And the Dolphins are right back in this game even at one. Remember, the Dolphins in all likelihood need a win to keep their playoff hopes alive entering the last game. Should they win, they will almost certainly be alive entering their finale. I don't believe that's a guarantee, but I think it's likely based on scheduling that they will be alive entering their conference finale for the playoffs if they win today. But they need a win. I'll get the ECC standings up in just a moment.
Nagel 18! Nagel and Riley organize!
That ball sent a long way into a dangerous attacking position, but it bends away from the attacker there. That was O'Hay. And she was behind the Dolphins' defense.
Go, go, Eva! Eva, go! Relax, understand that's going to happen, Eva. Start your run. Use your speed. You got her. Stay inside now. Stay inside. Inside. Bella, inside. Drop her and leave her inside.
Lillenquist will punt this one out toward midfield. It's over everybody. Uwe retreats to give chase, and that will roll over the touchline. So I don't recall where Radavini's first shot came. I certainly recall the Ludwig shot, and the Ludwig shot came so early I had forgotten about it. But that was certainly the best chance for either team on that attempt by Ludwig in the early going. Thompson for Rodriguez. Rodriguez racing ahead, had a step, but chasing her down was Gallagher. That's a good defensive play.
Hey, remain disciplined, Black. Well done. Do your job. Drop, come towards you. Drop, be in a good position to help Riley in case you need it now. Come on, keep going in.
Free kick to Uville here. It's sent through the midfield and contacted by Dolphin. Now Thompson over to Nagel. Dolphins looking to build an attack quickly here. Radavini checks over her shoulder, wants Thompson in the middle, but it's cleared away by the Saints onto the foot of Jenna Como. Como chips it up in the air over all of her attackers, but Radavini able to play it and now moves in. Wanted Thompson. This is Nagel. Nagel shoots, and she lost her footing on that shot attempt. That's shot number 4 for the Dolphins. Shot attempts favor the Saints, 8-4. Following that last attempt, the two teams both with a goal. The Saints with the only 2 corner kicks in this match as we reach 4.5 minutes to go in half number 1. And we will have a Deauville substitution here. Medea Simons will check in. And on the Dolphins side, Clarissa Melgoza will check in. Melgoza in a very brief stint with the team, making her first appearance, I believe 3 matches ago now, has already registered a goal and an assist for the Dolphins. I think this is her 4th outing of the year, if memory serves. When my laptop is being lent to streaming, there's a lot that I have to store in the memory bank. Thankfully, Live Stats working well on the phone, as Melgoza was the intended target on that ball from Radavini. However, the flag goes up and Melgoza was offsides.
Good movement, Krista. Good play, Eva. Good job, Bella. Balls in. Stay inside, Eva. To your left.
That ball sent into the midfield. And then sent a long way toward the penalty area by Deauville. They do make first contact with it. Albano attempted a sliding tackle, and the ball remains with Deauville. On the volley, Albano. And again, it comes down onto the foot of a Saint. Como finally dispossesses a Deauville attacker. And again, those jersey numbers tough to read on the opposite sideline. I believe that was O'Hay who had it and was dispossessed by Como. Either way, it's a Dolphins free kick as a foul was committed by Deauville.
Kelly, you should be dropped here, right? So we can play out.
Free kick taken by Albano, sent a long way through the midfield. Melgoza got a piece, but could not corral it. Saints now working along the midfield stripe. Move it forward into the attacking third. Ball rolling toward the corner. Giving chase and getting there was Dino. Dino toward the corner of the box, and that shot is saved by Villacres. Under 2 minutes. Final about 100 seconds of this first half approaching here. Once again, this is Joe Foreman broadcasting live from the best seat in the house. I'm about 5 feet, maybe a bit less, from the far sideline right at midfield. minus my very comfortable chair. That's right, Stephanie. I had to settle for one of the folding chairs today. That might change at halftime, though. That might change. Albano goes down, and she's no stranger to physical play. Certainly does not shy away from contact. 3 yellow cards for Albano on the season, so she'll have to be careful not to pick up another before the season's final game. It's a suspension on 5. However, you don't want
1 minute remaining.
one of your key players ever in a position where a yellow card would see them miss a game. Uwe sends one off of Nagel with 40 seconds to go in this first half. Dolphins hoping for one more opportunity as Melgoza puts a good ball on Rodriguez. And I think that's going to be a corner, and it will not. I thought Rodriguez may have sent that one off of her marker. That was Gallagher. But instead, it is going to be a goal kick for D'Youville, which may very well bring this first half to a close.
10, 9, 8, 7.
Must say, too, our sound system today,
3,
using a
2,
broadcast headset rather than a handheld microphone, sounds pretty good. First time that I've been located in front of the speaker. Meanwhile, after falling behind 1-0 early, the Dolphins have to feel pretty good about the position they're in to close out the first half. We are even at 1 goal per side following 45 minutes of play. When we come back, the second half from the CSI Outdoor Track and Field Complex. And we are back from the CSI Outdoor Track and Field Complex for the second half of today's East Coast Conference women's soccer matchup between the College of Staten Island and DeUville University. Both teams looking for their first victory of the 2024 season. The Dolphins now trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. They would need to win each of their last 2 conference games, but all you can ask for heading into that final conference match at Malloy is to be in the running. And with a win today, it is very likely that the Dolphins will still be alive in terms of the East Coast Conference playoffs. I will pull up the conference standings in just a moment. In the first half for CSI, Isabella Radavini with the Dolphins goal. On the other side for DeUville, it was Lily Gallagher who put the Saints on the board about 5 minutes into the first half. And as I said during the first half, we've seen the Dolphins fall behind early, forced to play from behind, and once again, the Dolphins showing that resilience we've seen from them all season. They are able to battle back in this game and get even. Can they get over the hump and pick up their first win with about 2 weeks to go in the 2024 campaign? As promised, I'll have those conference standings for you in just a minute. Play continues just outside of the midfield here. The Saints have it, working toward the midfield stripe now. Ball along the near side.
Follow her, Eva. Follow her, Eva. Yeah, follow her. Eva, follow.
And it was lost over the touchline. Throw in DeUville. All right, women's soccer conference standings. 2 teams right now have 6 points in the standings through 5 conference games, or make that one team with 6 points through 5 conference games, another with 6 points through just 3 conference games. So the Dolphins have an uphill climb, to put it mildly. The Dolphins are tied for the conference lead in games played. Right now, the Dolphins are one of only 2 teams who have played 5 conference matches. Today will make 6. Right now, the Dolphins on the outside looking in with 1 point against the ECC. Queens and Roberts Wesleyan both have 6. To pass them, the Dolphins would need to win each of their last 2 games, and they would need those 2 teams to lose out as the head-to-head matchups favor Roberts Wesleyan and Queens over CSI. So Dolphins need some help, but all you can ask for is a chance. And if those 2 teams get through the day without securing a point, then the Dolphins will have a window. How wide that window will be remains to be seen, with whether it's one or both of those teams that do not register another point this weekend. Those 2 teams have played each other as well, so there is no scenario where one of those teams is guaranteed to secure a point. That's something else to keep in mind. Also, right now, DeUville without a win, the Dolphins without a win. Taking a look at the schedule for Queens, they've already played both the Dolphins and the Saints. As this ball bounces into a dangerous area, Dolphins hoping to clear it. And Albano tried to, didn't get all of it. And the Saints will continue on the attack. Roberts does have a match against DeUville as that's on goal from a long way out. Powerful strike there from nearly in the midfield. Right on target. Almost found the top shelf in the upper left corner of the Dolphins' goal. Villacrest got up and snagged it, but a quality shot there from a long way out. I mentioned Queens has already played DeUville and Staten Island. Roberts Wesleyan has a match against DeUville coming up on Wednesday. As I mentioned before, both Queens and Roberts have tiebreakers over the Dolphins. So it's going to be really tough for the Dolphins to sneak into the postseason, but never say never, and don't count this team out despite the winless record. They've been a very resilient bunch all season long. And with a goal today, they could make that match next week a bit more interesting. Meanwhile, the Saints have played just 4 conference games. They need a win as well. So don't discount the importance of this game for DeUville, especially with a matchup coming up against Roberts. You know the Dolphins would be pulling for the Saints in that game regardless.
Hey, wake up! Step out. Hey, put pressure on her. Step out.
Saints have it in the midfield.
Jenna, hold. Jenna, to your left. Megan, behind you.
I did mention before, Queens has played just 3 conference matches. Their 4 conference games left are Damon, Mercy, Stack, and Malloy. Those are the top 4 teams in the conference, so things don't get much easier for Queens the rest of the way. They have to take on some really tough conference opponents. Going back to my point, never say never. Fortunately for the Dolphins, they have the top program in the conference right now in their final conference game as Radavini races up the sideline, but she was dispossessed by Gallagher. Dolphins will throw here, deep in the attacking third. Dolphins still without a corner in this match. Could look to change that here. And I think Radavini was trying just that. She looked to send it off her marker, and now Dolphins trying to pressure Gallagher into conceding a corner. Melgoza and Radavini there. And the Dolphins earn a throw. Doesn't get that much closer to the corner than this. Uwe will take this throw. She specializes in that long throw. This one finds Melgoza. Melgoza got a piece. Como shoots just high over the bar. A quality attempt from Jenna Como on the Dolphins side after the Saints had a quality strike of their own earlier in this half. Como made a bid there to give CSI the lead. Throw in Staten Island here, as that last shot nearly broke our 1-1 tie. Dolphins have definitely gotten far more and some quality opportunities since the opening minutes. They had that attempt by Ludwig as Castro intercepts. The Dolphins had an opportunity right there as well off the giveaway, but Saints take it back and work their way through the midfield. Early on, the Ludwig shot, a great chance for the Dolphins. After that, they were without a quality chance for quite some time. Radavini got them on the board with the goal as she commits the foul here. Saints couldn't believe a foul wasn't called sooner. Radavini couldn't believe a foul was called at all. We probably had a pretty good look at it from our camera on the opposite sideline. Temperature rising quickly here at the outdoor track and field complex. It was rather chilly when I left Matawan, New Jersey this morning. I'm in jeans and a sweatshirt. Not sure that was necessary as that ball is headed toward the Dolphins' goal, but it rolls harmlessly into the arms of Villacrest. I don't believe in the commentator's jinx, even though I am guilty of it time and time again. The question is, can you be guilty of something you don't believe in? We'll leave that up to our audience to decide. That being said, we have had picture-perfect weather for every home game we've covered this year outside. Typically, we've had the press box. This year, no such accommodations. I think we've made the most of it, and the weather has been a great help. We have not been rained on one time during a game, though we did have a breakdown that occurred during a torrential downpour. Fortunately, all the electronics were already out of harm's way. Looking ahead to the remainder of the day, of course, we have men's soccer coming up next. They will be hosting their senior day as well. As this ball is sent over everybody, rolling toward the touchline. Uwe shielding an attacker off of it, but she was last to touch it. Deichmann all over her. harassing her from behind, and the Dolphins concede another corner kick. But we have men's soccer senior day coming up ahead of their 2 p.m. game. We're probably looking at about a 1:45 start to the senior day presentation for the men. More to come after this corner kick. It's a good one, dangerous spot, and it travels through heavy traffic and over the touchline. Goal kick, Staten Island. That corner kick appeared a threat to bend in, and instead it traveled probably inches in front of the far post and ultimately over the touchline. Riley Hammond for Megan Marr on the Dolphins side. CSI making that last substitution, but men's soccer senior day coming up next. The Dolphins will recognize 6 seniors. The women had 10. That's probably the largest senior class I've ever had as PA announcer. And once again, the Saints almost put that ball into a very dangerous spot, just a bit ahead of the attacker, O'Hay. 1 week from today, women's soccer returns home. Alongside the men, we have a doubleheader next Saturday as well. Castro sent one toward Radavini. Pass was broken up. Melgoza into the box. Thompson got a piece. Como shoots and sends it wide. Como's last shot up and over the bar. That one, a low line drive. Just a few inches off the turf, wide of the post. Saints with it now off of a goal kick. For the women's soccer team next weekend, they will be hosting Morgan's Message Mental Health Awareness Day. That's been a staple on the schedule now for the last 3 seasons. Jenna Como shared her story during Morgan's Message Mental Health Awareness Day last year. Dolphins will have some giveaways if they keep with tradition ahead of that event next Saturday. That game, of course, part of a doubleheader. The women, as usual, up first. Their game will be followed by the men. For the men, the game next weekend will be their home finale. The women take on Holy Family. The men take on the University of New Haven. Bit of a different scheduling for the games next weekend. I'll have to confirm, but right now we have the women at 11 a.m. That's typical. The men, however, will kick off at 2:30, according to our schedule on the web. I'll confirm that's still the case, but that's about a half hour later than normal. Here come the Dolphins again. Radavini into the attacking third. Works toward the center of the pitch. Looks to shoot. It's blocked. Melgoza. Back to Rodriguez. Rodriguez circles toward midfield. Albano. Albano for Como. Como pressured from behind. Gives it up for Buckley. Now Uwe, as the Saints do a good job to get back and shut down that attacking play. Here's Radavini looking to get it started again. She wanted Castro. The pass intercepted. Dolphins try to win it back in the midfield. They cannot. And here comes DeUville across the midfield stripe. Deachman. Deachman had her cross blocked, and it's cleared away by Hammond. Ball settles in the midfield, and it's worked toward the near side. Deachman again. Gave it up. That was Law. She plays it far side. Nilsson toward the box. Headed by O'Hay, and it rolls straight to Villacrest.
Well done, Vlad. Good defensive play.
We approach 30 minutes to go in this match. Score is still even at 1. Both of these teams in desperate need of a goal to keep their conference playoff hopes alive, albeit slim at this point, given the situation with games played.
Hold, Gabby, hold, Gabby, hold. Swing your feet
That
up.
being said, playoffs aside, you know both of these teams are hungry to get in the win column.
Great work.
That's headed away by Buckley on a good ball that landed in a dangerous position. That was really anybody's ball in the box. Sakata gave it up, and it's now in the corner. Crossed by Nilsson. Como got a piece, and Thompson clears, but waiting for it once again is Nilsson. Saints will reset. Brown.
Hey, Ray, doing great, kid. Keep working fresh.
She works it over to Phillips. Phillips plays it near side.
Hey, 10! Jenna!
Deachman. Looking for somewhere to go with it. Had her pass blocked, and it will be a Saints throw.
Organize the mark, 10. Keep it up, Issa. Keep working.
Short throw. Saints with a short cross as well. Pinballs around in traffic and is cleared away by Uwe. Ball rolls into the midfield and now toward the Saints' goal. Lillenquist first to get to it. Along the near side, fight for possession. Ball sent back toward the center of the pitch. Brown there waiting. Rodriguez pressures. Rodriguez closing in on Lillenquist, and she gets it away. Brown again. Sends one toward the far side. Waiting there was Hammond. Hammond toward the center of the pitch for Como. Como was met by Cicchini, and a collision in the midfield. Sees Cicchini go down. Play continues as the ball rolls toward the corner. Giving chase is O'Hay. She's got it along the touchline. Strong challenge there by Castro, who ends up on the turf. And I think the Dolphins conceded a corner there, and that's certainly not what they were hoping for. If this is a corner, I believe that's number 4 for D'Youville. And they will make a change here as well. Ella Hurl just checked into the game for D'Youville. Getting set to take this corner kick is Gallagher. It is indeed a corner. We have seen some good corners thus far from the Saints. And that's another one that results in a goal. This time they get it onto the head of an attacker right on the doorstep. I believe that was Melia Law. We will confirm it in just a moment. She came up just short of a goal earlier, sending a header over the bar. She made no mistake on that one. And there wasn't much Villacrest could have done there, as the Saints go in front for the second time by a score of 2-1. Officially, it is Melia Law on the goal and Lily Gallagher on the assist. Hopefully the stats desk heard me. Law on the goal, Gallagher on the assist. I said it ahead of the corner more than once already in this game.
Law on the goal.
The Saints,
Lily Gallagher on the assist.
with a quality corner, set up a scoring chance. They do so again on that last score, and they go in front 2-1 with about 26 minutes to go, 26:30 to be exact, here in the second half. Radavini with some speed, has a step on Brown. She's moving in. Forced to circle back, wanted a teammate, but there was no room to get that pass away. Not much Radavini could have done there in heavy traffic. Surrounded by 3 Saints. Looks like she's still moving a bit gingerly as well. Chloe Ludwig back in for Clarissa Melgoza. Ahead of this Dolphins throw. The throw goes to Thompson, and she couldn't secure it. It's now a throw in for D'Youville.
Away from you, Riley. Riley to your right. Look to your right, Chloe and Riley. Come on, girls. Scan and talk.
Saints now perhaps could change the approach just a bit, leading by a goal. I think it's a little early to start thinking about that, but certainly during the final 15, if this remains a one-goal game, I think we may see D'Youville play a bit more defensively. However, the Saints are on the attack right here, and they have plenty of room. Hurl along the touchline, cross toward the far post, and nobody home. Cicchini was the nearest attacker, did not make it to that back post, and the Dolphins give it away. Sakata was dispossessed. Deichmann tracks it down, and the Saints will get to work on the attack once again. Phillips toward the far side, waiting for it, Nilsson. Nilsson back to Brown. And Brown sends one across midfield. That was onto the foot of Cicchini, and right back to Brown. Radavini closing in, strong challenge, and Radavini has it. Dolphins with a 2-on-1. Radavini for Thompson, a bit too strong on that ball. Can Thompson run it down? And she will send one across the goal mouth. Had no angle to shoot, and there was nobody home on the opposite side. Radavini with a strong challenge on Brown, took it away. Wanted Thompson, had the passing lane, but was off target on the through ball. Dolphins with a great chance to get even right there, and then Thompson was somehow able to keep it in. She sent it straight over the goalkeeper, Lillenquist, but there was no Dolphin waiting on the opposite post. A great opportunity goes by the wayside for CSI there, but you have to like what Radavini created with her defense as she draws a foul, and the Dolphins will earn a free kick. Thompson will line up to take this free kick. It's on its way. It's toward goal, and it's well wide. We've seen Thompson with some quality shots on free kicks throughout the season. That was not one of them. I'm sure she'd like to have that one back, as it will be a goal kick for D'Youville. That ball skips through traffic and into the midfield. Uwe, the first to it, wanted to turn, and she was not given any chance by Dino. Dino did keep it in. A nice play defensively. We'll see if the Saints can make something of it on the attack. That ball sent toward the box, wide of its intended target. I think that was Cicchini in the middle. Instead, that was Hurl. And it rolls over the touchline. Throw in here, chipped in the air, right back onto the foot of Hurl, who volleys it into the box. It's still loose, and Buckley finds a lane to clear. Here it comes. I think I might have it. First touch of the season. Fortunately for me, I'm allowed to use my hands. I do have some very abbreviated history as a ball runner. One game for soccer many, many seasons ago. There's actually photo evidence as the Saints now have a chance here. Great ball in front. And Hurl did not get a shot off. Albano was forced to spill it over the sideline. But many, many years ago, I believe it was in 2018, I had one game where I ball ran for one half in a torrential downpour. We had a ball runner who got soaked in the first half. I was on PA. There wasn't much for me to do once the game had gotten started, so I went out and ball ran for the second half. And if you go find the appropriate photo gallery, I believe it was a women's soccer game against Ramapo. You can find me in the background of one of those shots, holding a soccer ball soaked behind the fence. Never before, never again is what I said following that brief outing as a ball runner. Meanwhile, the Saints are set up for a corner kick here. Once again, very crowded in front of the Dolphins' net. It looks like some of the Saints are almost in the net as that ball travels behind the frame. And Rachel Charsky will check in for the Dolphins. Emily Nagel will check out. In terms of shots, the margin is tightened, 11-8 in favor of the Saints. In the shot department, corners 5-0 to Uville. And obviously with the corner that resulted in a goal, that number is consequential. Shots on goal, however, favor the Saints 9-2. Of their 11 shots, 9 on target. You like to see that. And not only have they been on target, at least 4 or 5 of them have been quality chances, of course, including the 2 goals. So we had a yellow card issued here. Gallagher is issued the yellow. And the reason for it was that the Saints believed Isabella Radavini should have been moved back some additional steps. They wanted the referee to count the 10 steps. The referee thought Radavini was in fine position. And I think Gallagher had an opinion on the matter that the official didn't take too kindly. So he showed her the yellow card. First card of the match issued to either team. And it remains 2-1. We have 18.5 minutes to go. Effectively, the Dolphins need to play for 2 goals here. But you can't get ahead without first tying the score, and they might have a chance to do so in this spot. Thompson, wide. Saints bench growing increasingly frustrated, and we've seen throughout the season Isabella Radavini play very physically, especially when she senses an opportunity to turn a defensive play into an attack. And in this game, she does not have a card, so I think we're going to continue to see that physical play until a card is shown. And to this point, they've allowed her to play that way. And this time, Dolphins are whistled for a foul on a strong challenge by Albano, but as long as there's a chance to turn defense into an attacking play, Radavini will continue to play physically. And I can't say that I blame the Saints bench for being a bit upset at some of them, but when it's not being called as a player, you have to use that to your advantage, and Radavini has done so well in this match. This is Brown now on the free kick. And that's a long one into the box. It's bouncing around. Saints want to shoot it. And we have a penalty. You could see that coming from over here. And that's a really tough spot to be in, as I don't think they called it a penalty. I think they called it a foul right at the top of the box. Well, that's a fortunate break for the Dolphins. This is as close to a penalty as you can get on a free kick. Dead center, just outside the top of the box. Fortunately for the Dolphins, they can set up a wall, 4 players on that wall, and a chance here for the Saints to go ahead by a pair off the bar. I thought that was certainly high, but it does catch the top of the crossbar. It rebounds over the touchline, and the Saints will throw in. Jillian Bernice on that free kick with another quality strike for this Saints squad. They've had quite a few good-looking shots that have not gone in, whether they've challenged the keeper or just missed. And the Dolphins were very fortunate that foul occurred where it did, because a few inches forward, and that's a penalty kick, which may effectively end this game. We are inside of 16 minutes to play now. Score still 2-1 in favor of D'Youville. Saints will throw in from in the corner. Dolphins with a chance here to apply some pressure and maybe turn some defense into offense. They need it. Throw in a short one. Thompson and Uwe closing in now. That's expected as they look to surround the ball, and the Dolphins do generate a giveaway. Hammond wanted Radavini, Brown all over it. Albano racing through the midfield. Castro gets to it first. She finds Albano on a dangerous pass, and Dolphins give it away. This could lead to a shot. O'Hay chips it in the air, and the flag is up as Hurl was offsides. And they will allow substitutions ahead of the throw. Megan Marr back in for the Dolphins. And Jesslyn Brooke Ballesteros checks in for the Saints. D'Youville possession, working along the sideline. Dolphins try and win it back as Marr is yanked down. No question about that call. And that will draw a yellow card. So the initial foul did not draw the yellow, but the action of kicking the ball away after the fact draws the yellow. We'll have to confirm with the officials following the match who the yellow card was on, unless the scores table got it. It was very quick. Replay probably could confirm it. I think both Bernice and Ballesteros were in the area. Here comes D'Youville once again to the attacking third, wasting no time getting back on offense. Hurl working against Castro, and Castro will concede a throw. Saints will throw from the far side. It travels straight into the box. It's chipped in the air, and handball is the call. That's volley in the air by Marr. Now Albano. To Castro. Fight for possession along the sideline, and three Saints win it from Radavini. Here come the Saints again, and that shot was saved by Villacres on the attempt by Ballesteros. You have to like what the Saints are doing here. Leading by a goal, they're continuing to keep the pressure on. They have not relented, have not dropped back into a more defensive look, and have not suffered for it either. That's important. We're at a juncture in the game where you can't afford to compromise defense for offense, and the Saints certainly have not been guilty of that. Albano commits another foul. Free kick to D'Youville. 12.5 to go, second half. Free kick, well wide. Saints wasted no time on that one. Villacres into the midfield off the body of Uwe, who was not whistled for a very aggressive challenge. Como has it. Now Charsky circles back, And the Dolphins will regroup. Albano. For Castro. Castro. And I have my second touch of the game. This time I got to use the left foot. As I mentioned earlier, best seat in the house. Long throw by Castro. Looking to play Radavini over the top. And I think the Dolphins have just won a corner kick, and they have. So the effort of Radavini on a ball that she didn't necessarily have a chance to retrieve earns the Dolphins a corner kick. And CSI needs to generate something from this set piece in a big way. Radavini will take the corner. She sends it well beyond the back post. It bounces toward the opposite corner. There's a Dolphin down in the box. I think that was Hammond. She gets to her feet. Now Castro sends one in the air. Albano and Radavini both racing to it, but could not get there in time.
Stay high. Black, stay higher.
Good effort there by Albano and Radavini. They just ran out of room. Goal kick to Uville. They are taking their time here, and wisely so. We approach 10 minutes to go in the second half. The Dolphins still trail 2-1. Ball along the near side with D'Youville. They work it toward the center of the pitch. Once again, Brown pressured by Radavini. Radavini closing in. Now Lillenquist. Straight toward Ludwig, who got a piece and could not direct it the way she wanted. You'd have to believe that Ludwig wanted to play that one toward goal instead of backwards into the midfield. But she just couldn't get high enough on that leap. Here come the Saints again, taking their time.
Pressure on it.
Phillips gives it up and has it back.
Step. Bella, go. Bella, go.
Lillenquist with Radavini charging in again.
Step higher.
Dolphins trying to force a mistake here. Saints thus far have been clean with their passing, but the Dolphins have not made it easy. And that does remain in along the touchline. And here come the Saints. Castro clears it. And Hurl was not far. Throw in here to the box, headed by Marr, and again by the Dolphins. Charsky, the last to touch it for CSI, but once again the Saints have it. Brown sends it over to Nilsson. Nilsson up ahead. Hurl wanted to turn. She's met by two Dolphins. Please don't hit the power strip. Can't afford to lose the power strip. That's our broadcast right there. We did lose it earlier in the season when it was struck by a ball. What are the chances? Very slim. Rhetorical questions don't quite hit the same without a color commentary partner. You can always count on our good friends Jeff and Nick for a witty response, but we don't have them today. Our Sportsnet colleague Nick Bavona had a personal obligation this weekend. I believe he also is not with us next weekend, as he is the public address announcer for St. Peter's High School. Here come the Saints again. Hurl wanted to cross, and she collides with Albano. The ball remains in play, and the Dolphins look to get on the move quickly. Ludwig with inside of 7.5 to go, and that ball is emphatically sent back the other way by D'Youville. Now Albano along the touchline, working forward toward the midfield. Albano wanted Radavini. It's knocked away by the Saints again. Nilsson for Hurl, and now Cicchini back to Brown. Radavini goes down to the turf, and the Saints will take their time here. Saints will kick it out, and they will stop the clock, I believe, and they do. So Radavini, who looked shaken up earlier, remained in the game. Then a bit later, during, or I should say in the aftermath of an attacking play, appeared to be shaken up again and was not walking comfortably. It looks like all of those bumps and bruises over the course of this game have finally added up, and Radavini remains seated on the pitch, helped to her feet by head athletic trainer Allison Ocasio. As I mentioned before, we were inside of 7.5 minutes. There's now 6:43 on the clock. Both teams right now gathered in their bench areas. Saints are making a substitution here during the injury timeout. With limited time left, the Dolphins will probably make a substitution here. It looks like Eva Rodriguez will be that substitution. So play will resume with 6:43 on the clock. Emily Massey at the scorer's table as well. So the Dolphins are poised to make another change, and they will. Massey will check in to replace Gabriela Castro. So the Dolphins, without Isabella Radavini right now, Rodriguez in to replace her, Massey in for Castro, and the Dolphins have possession. Rodriguez with a good ball toward Como. Como did get a foot on it, but couldn't knock it down and have it come to rest on her foot. Saints now hope to counter. We approach 6 minutes to go. That ball sent into the box, and Villacrest has it. The CSI men's soccer team has made their way into the outdoor track and field complex. Their game coming up next. Men's soccer taking on the same Dieuville squad. This is O'Hay, and it's cleared away again, this time by Buckley. Retreating to track it down is Nilsson. Now Brown. Brown gave it up for Law, and now Phillips. Phillips off the head of Charsky, and it takes a nice Dieuville roll onto the foot of Dino. Dino, well high. Saints substitution here. Montesacata will check in. The clock stops on any Saints substitution during the final 15 minutes. That's something to keep in mind. Ball headed by Uwe. Rodriguez pressuring as we approach 5 minutes to go. Fight for it along the sideline, and the Dolphins win possession. They will throw quickly. Como got a piece with the body, working against two Saints, and she lost it over the touchline. Como didn't like it, and I think the Dolphins may have been called for a foul there. Handball. Thank you, Stats Desk. Como couldn't believe it. Ball sent toward the top of the box. La got a piece of it, shielding Albano away. Sakata back over to Nilsson. Deachman tried to receive it, but Massey cut her off well. This is Philocrest. Up ahead. And now Charsky, who has room. Charsky races toward midfield, plays it down toward the corner, and I think the Saints did the Dolphins a favor by receiving that ball. It was headed for the touchline, but they do maintain possession and will get moving quickly.
Emily, 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Forward.
Under 4 minutes to play. Dolphins need a goal to get even, and a pair, at least, to lock up their first victory. Albano
Emily, go play striker.
wanted Uwe, and a big collision at the ball. Sees Phillips clear it away.
Next to kill. Jenna. Riley.
There's a second ball on the pitch.
Jen, drop back.
Clock stopped. 3:18 to go. Dolphins throw and the clock resumes. Throw in Dieuville. Albano thought there was some extra contact there. Saints can take their time on this throw-in. We've reached 3 minutes to go. Uwe for Hammond. Rodriguez almost lost her footing, tries to turn. Good defense by Phillips. Throw in Staten Island here. Taken quickly once again. This is Como for Marr. Marr. Long ball up ahead. Ludwig got a piece. May have had Massey. I don't know if she saw her. And the Dolphins then commit a foul.
13.
Free kick to Uville as time continues to wind late in the second half. Brown will take the free kick.
Come on, Dino, come on.
It's headed by Buckley. Met in the midfield by Law. And here comes Dieuville once again. Nice fake on the way in. That was Dino on the deke.
Yes.
And a foul is whistled against the Dolphins. 1:40 to go. Another free kick and a dangerous spot for Dieuville. A goal puts this game away. Their last attempt connected with the bar. Dolphins with 3 on the wall near the top of the box. And a yellow card has been issued to the Dolphins bench. Gabriela Castro picks up the yellow from the bench. Clock at 1:18 on the free kick. And it is just high. The optical illusion that is the net behind the net sometimes makes it appear as if those went in. That did not. So we had some confusion over that last substitution. Tamia Kitchings came in. It was a Dolphins goal kick. The referee, with the clock stopped, was going to allow that substitution. Dolphins have 1 minute to get even and perhaps one final chance here. Saints clear, and the Dolphins will throw quickly. Massey chases it down. She wants to throw and does so. Albano waiting, was met from behind. That was Law. Dolphins hoping to keep it at this end of the pitch. It's sent the other way. Ludwig knocks it down. Clearance whiffed on. Massey toward the corner. Albano trying to meet it. Did she get there? She did. And the Dolphins are awarded a corner. 22 seconds to go. The Dolphins don't have much time. Corner on its way. Knocked into the air. And a foul is whistled against the Dolphins. That should do it.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
And the Dolphins will come up 1 goal short at home once again as the Deauville University Saints come in and win their first match of the 2024 season by a final score of 2-1. Dolphins get on the board via an Isabella Radavini goal, but the Saints, with a pair, did enough to get into the win column for the first time this year as the Dolphins will fall.